yeah, he's super good looking. Hi, everyone. I haven't had a chance to speak to all of you yet, but my name is Kimberley-Rae, and I'm super excited, but I'm also really nervous. I get really nervous when I do public speaking, but whenever I know that there's something good that I should do that I'm nervous about, I always push myself to do it. So Daniel just found out today that I'm doing a testimony, so I think he's just sinking in. But I guess I have two Valentines, so that's Daniel and that's God as well. Daniel is really proud of my love for him, but he's even more proud of my love for God. So I'm a little shaky, but Daniel and I met in 2013 at a photo shoot. My modeling agent had set up a shoot for him to do his acting headshots, and I had just come back from Singapore, and so she asked me to be the assistant on the shoot. So she told me that it would be a really big YouTube star and that I would just need to do things like hold up the reflector, fix the garments for him, and all those kind of behind-the-scenes jobs. So I said, sure, why not? Thought I'd give it a try instead of being in front of the camera. And before I got to the shoot, she decided it would be a good idea to advise me that he was unavailable and in a relationship. And I couldn't quite understand why. Did she think that I was just going to prey on him or something? I don't know where she got that from, but I went into it knowing that, and I showed up without my makeup done, without my hair done, and just threw on some clothes and left. And I remember when I showed up at the shoot, I remember bending down, taking off my shoes, and I looked up, and I saw him there and regretted everything that I was wearing and how I did my hair and makeup. I thought, oh my goodness, he is so gorgeous. So the shoot began, and I found that he was asking me a lot of really interesting questions, like, would you rather date a singer or date a dancer? And I answered every single question completely wrong and completely not what he was. So the shoot ended, and my agent and I, we were gossiping afterwards about how good-looking Daniel is. And that's when she let me know that he was actually single. So I don't know why her answer changed or how she could have forgot that in the span of a few hours, but I felt really hopeless and like this relationship would never work out. So a few weeks later, I went back to Singapore and stayed there for a few months. And just as I was packing my bags to come home a few months later, I got a message. So I went to my computer and I saw it was from Daniel, and he wanted to meet up once I got back into Vancouver. So after he was done with Pop Anthology, we started hanging out and started dating ever since. So that's how we met. Daniel is a man of excellence and has a way of making everyone feel comfortable around him. When he grew to know me better, I let him in. He was with me when I hit a really rough patch and was diagnosed with an eating disorder in 2014. I'd been suffering for a while, but had finally hit rock bottom and really wanted to change. Daniel stood by me in some of my darkest days, and he shed light on them. He helped me to heal. And instead of doing awful habits, I turned to better ones, because I had been doing awful things to my body for years, abusing laxatives, denying myself certain foods, running on the treadmill until it would say 1,000. Calories are decreased, binge eating, exercising every day, even on vacation. I would force him to run outside with me in the 35-degree heat in Thailand or in the rain. He would just do everything to be by my side. Most of all, he started encouraging me just so much every day and telling me that healing was possible. He made me meditate on words of truth and not the self-loathing affirmations that I've tried on for years. And most of all, he introduced me to Jesus. One of the exact statements Daniel had me repeat to encourage healing was, God will take care of me and make sure that I will be safe. That includes my relationship with food. God will not abandon me. He will make sure that I do not go crazy and I do not go out of control. Because he's looking over me, I do not need to keep track of how much I eat, and I do not need to figure out what to do. God will do that, and he will do an even better job than I can do for myself. God has even better plans than I have for myself. Therefore, I can release all my control over to him. I had known of Daniel's love for Christ, and on one winter night, I found myself finally asking him the question that I had had on my mind for a while. May I go to church with you? And he nearly fell out of his seat. I began going to church, and as I became more invested and attending each Sunday, my love of God grew. I began to understand God's extravagant love and grace, and I began to hear him more clearly as well. After some time, God spoke to me and gave me visions of a hopeful future without suffering from an eating disorder. After my journey of recovery, I even went to relapse and grab laxative pills, and I remember holding them in my hand, and they kept dropping out of my hand as if a force was forcing them out. It was really real, and these visions and these experiences really made me believe how real this all is. And I'm super pleased to say that because of the love of my partner Daniel and extravagant and unconditional love from God, that I'm a survivor of bulimia and have recovered from my eating disorder. I could not have done it without the unconditional love, encouragement, and support of my partner Daniel. I could not have done it without God's strength, vision, and direction for my life and future. Thank you for being there for me, Daniel, and thank you for introducing me to God. My life has been saved.